The murders of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd are not only tragic, but as we've seen, they have lifted the veil of centuries of systemic oppression and racism that has run rampant in our country, impacting the lives of Black people. In my experience as the executive director of ImpactTulsa, I bring fully my lived experience as a Black woman, as a wife to a Black man, as the mother of a Black son. I think about the times when I've switched cars with my husband. I remember vividly one day I was driving to work. I had pulled up and gotten to the garage at the office and pulled down the veil to begin to apply my lipstick. And I began to get hit with papers. And as soon as I was ready to call my husband and complain about putting papers in the visor, I looked to see what those papers were. They were his registration, his insurance information. I saw driver's license clipped to the top. And I realized that he had those there to potentially save his life, so that he didn't have to go into the car console or into the glove compartment and threaten an officer with his presence. But we also know that sometimes that's just not enough. And that's the truth of the America that we live in. I live with fear for my Black son. And what does it mean for him to grow up in this society that does not value his humanity as a young Black man? At ImpactTulsa, we believe that Black lives matter. We stand with those who are crying out against the racial injustices in our country, and we serve alongside in working to dismantle systems of systemic oppression and racism. In our lane, we serve in the public education sector. We work with nonprofit leaders, school districts, business leaders, and civic leaders, all trying to create a pathway for students to thrive in Tulsa. We know from our work in the Child Equity Index and from working in child nutrition and unveiling the data that shows the digital divide and disparate outcomes even for children in our community based upon the neighborhoods that they live in, that we have work to do. We know that the systems that individuals are protesting against right now of systemic racism weren't just built by one person. They were built over centuries by many people. And it will take many people, all of us, to dismantle those systems, to create policies, procedures, and pathways for all children to thrive. I ask you, will you join us in this work? Will you brave spaces and not sit in silence and be complicit about what is happening? I've heard people say, I don't know what to say, or, this seems too political. I argue that this is not political. This is about humanity. And when we think about this moment in history, what will be said about what you choose to do, how you choose to elevate your voice, how you choose to use your privilege, how you choose to transform your organization to make this country what it was promised to be, a land of liberty and justice for all.